Hey, Blue Demons, Courtney here from the Office of Student Involvement. Welcome back for winter quarter. We're so excited to have you joining us. And we're here today to kick off our second iteration of Get to Know Depaul. And of course, it's Tanisha with the pom-pom.
Oh, yeah.
Natalie, where's your pom-pom?
At the office.
Ah,
I know. I need to grab it sometime.
yeah.
You
Well,
always got to have it handy, Natalie. Always.
Yeah, I feel like at this point it's an extension of Tanisha. It's
It
like
is.
Yes.
Tanisha come
It is.
with the pom-pom.
We're a package deal.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. This is Get to Know Depaul. So this series is a deep dive series where you can get to know different programs and services around the university. So today, to kick off the week, we're talking with Student Involvement, which is the office that I get to work in. And I'm joined by Natalie Stone and Tanisha Arnold, both also from OSI. So I'll give you two a chance to introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Stone. And as Courtney mentioned, I serve as an assistant director in the Office of Student Involvement. I have been with Depaul for 5 years, and I've also lived in Chicago for 5 years as well. And I chose to come to Depaul because I was really looking for a place that was mission driven and that students had a great pride in the university, and that could be seen in so many different ways, from students being involved in different student organizations to being part of mission and ministry programs to having a job on campus. So I'm excited to be with all of you today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tanisha Arnold, the other assistant director in the office, and I oversee the areas of programming. I have been at Depaul a little bit over 2 years now, and have lived in Chicago for the exact amount of time. And really, I tell this story all the time. The way I got to Depaul is because of Courtney. So, we were, involved in a professional organization and, really, connected through that space. And, Courtney, shared this opportunity with me, and I gave it a look, and here I am.
And Depaul is better for it.
Right. 2 years and a couple of months later, here I am. So yeah, it was a great connection, and happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for taking some time this afternoon. I know we obviously the two of you and I know a lot about OSI, but for our viewers, we're here to talk with them a little bit about it. So for those of you watching, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. We can see them live as we go, so we're happy to answer those as we're able. But to really kick us off here, Tanisha, how about you just give us a little bit of an overview about what OSI is and what we do?
Yeah. So student involvement, our office, is really focused on making good things happen for students. You'll oftentimes hear, our staff members talk about that. That is our mission and focus of our office. And beyond that, we are really focused on fostering a space and community to provide opportunities for our students to be involved and connected on campus in a variety of different facets. So whether that's campus activities, student organizations, or other leadership opportunities, that's what we are focused on. And so, we work with our student leaders to help them develop and really find connections on campus, as well as partnerships that extend outside of DePaul community, as well into the city of Chicago. So yeah, really just trying to help our students maximize their experience and have access to resources during their time here at DePaul.
That's great. And so our office, for those of you who don't know, our office has 4 core components. We oversee campus activities, fraternity and sorority life, student organizations, and esports. So Tanisha, can you tell us a little bit about the campus activities realm and student orgs?
So our student organization community is a very robust community. We have over 300 student organizations represented on our campus over across of 13 different categories. Actually, it may be a little bit more than 13 now, but just a great variety of different interests for students to learn about and get connected with. And also, of those 300 plus, if there's something you want to do and you don't see it here at DePaul, we also have opportunities for students to come together and create student organizations. In the campus activities world, we have our programming board, DePaul Activities Board. And so that's our premier programming group on campus. And so they plan hundreds of events throughout the year for our students to participate in. Also, what's unique about our programming board is we also have a late night programming committee called DePaul After Dark. And so they are really tasked with putting together some alternative programming for our students in the late evenings. Those usually happen on Thursdays. So that's a little bit of campus activities. And I think the other piece of it loops in our welcome experience programming. So right now this week we have Winter Welcome Week going on, but throughout the year we have Fall Welcome Week, as well as some activities in the spring quarter to welcome students back.
And then we also have funding for our student organization. So if your student organization is looking to plan a virtual or in-person experience, you can receive funding through the Office of Student Involvement. It's called the Student Organization Fund. And so if you go on DHub and look up Student Organization Fund, there's a ton of information on how to apply for funding. And so think of creative ways that you can engage your student organization during this virtual time. You can host a trivia night. There's a ton of different games that you can play. Scribio is one of our office's favorite games to play virtually. So check that out, figure out how you can utilize this funding to create a space for your members to continue to be in community with one another. Another program that we oversee in the Office of Student Involvement is Fraternity and Sorority Life. So within Fraternity and Sorority Life, we have 28 chapters and 4 councils. And so right now is our big recruitment and intake season. So if you go to go.depaul.edu/FSL, you will find all the information you need to register for recruitment or express interest in one of our 28 organizations. So I highly recommend that you check that out. It's a great way to get connected with students across many different disciplines. And so if you are looking for community and you haven't found that yet at DePaul, I encourage you to seek out more information.
Natalie, I feel like I need to correct you on one thing.
Okay.
Scribio was our office favorite until Among Us came out.
Oh, that's right.
And now Among Us has just taken over. And for those of you watching, if you ever are playing Among Us with Tanisha, there's probably a high probability that she's the imposter. She is.
Yes.
About a 90% chance that I'm the imposter.
Yeah, but that brings us to our last element that we also oversee, our esports program. So I get to serve as the main staff liaison for our esports program. So we have 18 teams as part of our esports community, 1,300 community members between our competitive teams and our recreational component. But that could be a whole session in and of itself. But it's a really great way if you consider yourself to be a gamer, either casually or competitively. We've got an entire community here for you at DePaul. So you can find out more information about that at discord.gg/DePaul esports as well. So we've talked a little bit about the big picture, right? So now that we're in winter quarter, I'm curious if the two of you can talk a little bit about what engagement looked like for us in the fall and how we anticipate it'll look in the winter. Is it going to be the same? Are we going to see any shifts for people who may have been involved in the office this past quarter?
Well, I would say just from my area, that engagement, looked like attending virtual events. We saw a number of students who showed up to those virtual events, joining the student organization community, which, that continued to grow fall quarter, despite, being in a virtual environment. And then also just we had some student org trainings and workshops, that were offered and seeing participation in that way as well. So, that's what I witnessed last quarter. And I think, here in the winter time, our students in fall quarter, they had an opportunity to, kind of browse around to see what interests them and see what was going on in the virtual world. And, I anticipate an increase in involvement now that people know where to go to get their information. And so, I think that will definitely be a change that we will see one quarter.
Yeah. Well, and Tanisha, I think that brings up a really good point in especially for our new students, for our first year students or new transfer students who may still be acclimating to the DePaul community. I've been really impressed about how robust our student organization community has been in a predominantly virtual environment. They are having meetings weekly, they are planning events. I just saw our DePaul betas have a full week of events that they just announced. I mean, our community is really, really active. And while obviously it looks a little bit different behind a computer screen, there's really a lot of different opportunities there, and they are student driven, right? It's not only us as staff members leading and facilitating every single thing. There's a ton of students and student groups that are organizing to really continue to build that build community for one another and to really make those connections. And I think that's really important right now, right? Like we're heading into winter. We all know that seasonal affective disorder is real. You can't go outside as much. I mean, I hope we don't get down to the -17 of Chicago like we did last year. But people
Right.
we need other people, right? So student organizations in particular, and some of the events that DAB and SGA, all those groups are doing are really great ways to connect.
Yeah, and I would say in addition that I've been really impressed with how creative and innovative our student leaders, student organizations have been, throughout this pandemic. I think they have really shifted their key programming to be a virtual experience. And I think, we are about to have panel story recruitment in a virtual space. It's going to be on Zoom. And like, we would have never thought that that experience could move from the student center to a Zoom room, and it's going to. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen in this transition to a virtual space is they're being creative, they're thinking differently. And I think they're also having these programs that are virtual. And so they, students that are commuter students, they have more access to attend the programs because everyone is on a Zoom call or meeting. And so I think it is breaking down some of those barriers that maybe commuter students encountered in the past as well.
Yeah. So speaking to some of these events, I'm curious if there have been any, trends that you've noticed through programs or themes that you perhaps saw emerge from students. For me, for one, students love free stuff, and we've got a whole lot of it, right? From our sticker of the month club to, today even we're doing hot cocoa from Sheffield right now, right, Tanisha? Like there's a whole lot of giveaways, and we're sending students supplies so that they can participate remotely in some of these offerings. But yeah, I don't know if there's any other trends that either of you want to touch on.
Yeah, I was actually just talking with Rigo about this right before this live, and we were talking about how our students, and really not just students, everybody has had to learn different technology and the various platforms that we're hosting some of these experiences on, like platforms that they probably have never used before. They are having to do some research and play around on them a little bit just to be able to participate and have meaningful connections with people. And so, it's just been really cool to see how our community has been able to learn those things and still feel connected at DePaul.
I would say I think students are really grasping for a sense of connection. I think we've all been talking about this. And, how can they still feel that like sense of friendship and belonging in this virtual space, especially for our new students, not being able to have the same experience of like going to a welcome week event on campus and just meeting people in person and trying to recreate that experience. And so I think for all the new students and, student upperclassmen, I think just continue to engage in different ways, try out a new experience, ask a classmate to come to a Take Home Tuesday event or, an upcoming Welcome Week event, because it is going to take some time, but I think there is so many opportunities through student organizations or through different departments to find that friendship and, find those connections at DePaul.
Yeah, I don't know have either of you seen Dear Evan Hansen?
Yes.
No.
You have?
Yes.
Great. So this is one of the things, and SGA can probably attest to this, and I've said hopefully they've caught this a couple times, but there's a song in Evan Hansen that talks about "You Are Not Alone," and I think that's really important, and I actually think about that song a lot right now, and I think it's really important for students to remember too, you are not alone, right? Like, even though, I mean, you might be wherever you are. I as you can tell, am, here in my bedroom. We're not alone, right? There's people here at DePaul for you, and it's really important to find whatever that community might be. And like Tanisha talked about, we have 350 student organizations, most of which are still operating this year. And it's a really great time to perhaps try something new. I've been really impressed with some of our groups. One of them I'm continually floored with, and hopefully they're watching, is the Euchre Club. I don't know if you all know this, but we have a euchre club that meets every single Thursday, and they play euchre every single Thursday night. And we're seeing that more and more, right? Like, you finding that routine, finding those people, finding your people, really can help you get through not only classes, but just the pandemic in general, right? So I think it's, as I talk more and more with students, I'm hearing more and more about these experiences, and it has been really great to see our student organization community really rise above some of the challenges that they've had this year. So, I'm curious, we talked a little bit about Panhellenic. We've talked, briefly about some of these big picture things, but what are some of the experiences and things that students can look forward to coming out of OSI this winter quarter? And Tanisha, how about we start with you on this one?
Yeah. So, this week is Winter Welcome Week, and later this week we will have the return of the virtual involvement fair. We saw such, really great success with that in the fall quarter, so we are doing it again. And this year, this quarter, it will be 2 days. So Thursday, January 7th from 2 to 6 p.m. And then Friday, January 8th from 11 to 2 p.m. And so this is going to be hosted on DHub. And you can log into DHub and be able to access the virtual involvement fair from the homepage, and be able to visit with several student organizations. I believe we have over 100 student organizations that are registered for this event, which is great, because usually in the winter quarter, we may see a little bit of a smaller number. Well, not like small, but like less than we would see in the fall quarter for registration. And so, I was excited to see that number, because it tells us that our student organizations are still committed to the message of involvement and wanting to connect with students. So we have that going on. Also, with the DePaul Activities Board, they're returning their bi-weekly trivia night series. It's going to have various themes, ranging from pop culture and TV. And I know our students are very excited to see trivia nights coming back this quarter. DePaul After Dark is doing a drag show in March. So that's something to be on the lookout for. And then last but not least, we have Blue Demon Week. That will be happening in February 8th through the 12th. And so the student committee is working now to put together an exciting week of events. I know that they are going to reimagine what the pasta dinner will look like in the virtual world. So stay tuned for more updates regarding that.
That's great. If anyone from DAB is watching, this is my formal request for a Schitt's Creek trivia night. I think that would just be magical.
That would be fun.
I know. I'm almost done. I'm like on season 3, so I have a few more seasons to go. It's so good. Such a good show.
It really is.
Some other programs that we have coming up in winter quarter are the Gnome Hunt, which is like my favorite event of the year. I love the Gnome Hunt. Tanisha and I both really love the Gnome Hunt. Courtney does too, but we really like the Gnome Hunt.
Tanisha, where is your gnome?
It's over here.
Oh, okay. For our viewers watching, Tanisha likes the Gnome Hunt so much that when DePaul closed last March and we told the whole team to bring home essentials, Tanisha brought a gnome home.
I did. I was like, I have to bring it, because I didn't know when we were going to make it back. And it's been here sitting with me the whole pandemic.
The gnome is definitely essential. So for students who are new, the Gnome Hunt is a DePaul tradition where student organizations decorate a gnome. and then we hide them all throughout campus. And so we are reimagining that, this year, but we will have a gnome hunt at the end of February. So stay tuned for more information on our social media. Once again, it's a great event. Everyone gets so excited. There's lots of gnomes. Like we've had an Ariana Gnome Day. There's been a Steve Jobs gnome. There's just a lot of gnomes. There's a lot of creativity that goes on. So you can check out last year's gnomes on our social media. So great event. We will be continuing Take Home Tuesdays this quarter as well. And so our first Take Home Tuesday will be tomorrow. So check out our social media on what the Take Home Tuesday is. And so we'll have that every Tuesday for this winter quarter as well. And you can always check out the Den to see what all the virtual programming offerings are for the week and the quarter. So I definitely encourage you to check out the Den for more information about upcoming events for winter quarter.
Great, thanks for that. And for our viewers, if you're not familiar with the Den is the digital engagement network. So when we went to this virtual environment early in the pandemic, we created it essentially as a one-stop shop for you to go to find events, resources, all sorts of different things. So it's both a website and a weekly email. So you should be getting the weekly email here shortly today. They come from Franco Sambataro every single Monday. But you can also visit the website at go.depaul.edu/den. We actually may have some visitors, some viewers who are watching live from the Den website. We've been working hard to figure out how we can incorporate our live streams into that website as well. But it has all of those upcoming events. So the email sends updates for this week. But if you want to take a look at what's upcoming in the future, you can go to that site and see all of those upcoming events as well. So, as we head towards the tail end of our interview, if any of our viewers have any questions, again, feel free to post them in the comments. We'd be happy to answer them live during today's session. But Tanisha and Natalie, I'm curious, as you know, we head towards the tail end of this. If you have any advice for students as they head into the second quarter of this academic year.
I would say for new students and returning students, I would say to take that time to build a relationship with faculty and staff. Find those mentors because faculty and staff are also looking to connect with you during this virtual time. We are still hosting office hours. While they may not be on campus, we are willing to do that, by way of Zoom, phone calls, whatever works best for you. And so I would, highly encourage you to, stop by your faculty Zoom room, or, a lot of different offices have their own Zoom space, or we can meet with you one-on-one. If that's to talk about your career or your student organization, we're happy to do so. So definitely connect with us, in this virtual world.
And I would just, encourage students to continue to, practice self-care and, take care of yourself and really, do the best that you can to, create some balance between your schoolwork, your home life, as well as any other obligations that you have. Oftentimes it can be a bit overwhelming to be in class where you live at, and then, have to go off to, maybe you have a job or something like that. And so sometimes those things can be overwhelming. So creating, a schedule to where you can, dedicate time to certain activities and commitments could really help you, as you start this winter quarter.
Yeah, and I think it's important to also recognize your schedule might have to be a little bit different because the community and the physical environment that we're living in is different too, right? It's especially if you're living in Chicago, it's colder, so it's harder to go outside for longer periods of time. It gets darker earlier. So even if you're like, you know what, I crushed fall quarter. I crushed those 10 weeks. I knew exactly what I was doing. I went outside, I did this. your schedule probably is going to have to change a little bit. So taking some time to really think about that and think about how you might have to adapt, I think is really, really important. And it's a great point to bring up, Tanisha. Thanks for doing that. I know one thing for me that like gets me, which it's just like, some may consider it a silly little thing, but I get really sad when the holiday lights come down. Like I just love seeing that. And now it's cold and there's no lights. Like that just sucks even more, right? Like, so I even personally have to think about how I start to adapt all of those different things. Well, Tanisha and Natalie, thank you both so much for joining us. For our viewers, if you're not following us on social media yet, you can connect with us via Instagram at DPU Involvement, Instagram and Twitter. And then our Facebook is just Office of Student Involvement if you want to find us there as well. Also, Tanisha earlier mentioned the Student Involvement Fair that's taking place this Thursday and Friday. If you aren't sure how to access D-Hub or what D-Hub is, D-Hub essentially is our student organization content management system. So it is our home base for all of our student organizations. So you can go there to search for student orgs or to join the involvement fair, like Tanisha said. The website's pretty simple. It's just dhub.depaul.edu. So be sure to check that out so that you can join in on the involvement fair. So as we really wrap up the interview here, did want to take a second to talk about some of the upcoming events this week for Winter Welcome Week. So since we've got an expert in our presence, I'm actually going to turn it over to Tanisha to talk about what's going on.
Oh, that's so kind. Thanks, Corey. So yeah, Winter Welcome Week is taking place all week. And of course, you can go to welcomeweek.depaul.edu for all the details. But just to kind of give you a quick overview of what's going on. Today, hot cocoa from Sheffield. So really, you can go over to D-Hub and request to receive a hot cocoa packet that comes along with a custom Depaul straw kit, which is pretty neat. So yeah, go over to that. And we still have supplies available. So definitely make sure you check that out. Natalie has mentioned Take Home Tuesday already in this live. And so, yeah, stay tuned. Watch our social media tomorrow morning because it will be released what they will be distributing for that. Mystery Bingo Night's going on tomorrow night at 7 p.m., which is always a fun time. So, yeah, come participate with us so that you can see what those mystery prizes will be. And then over on Wednesday, we're just going to have a Winter Wonderland hunt, which will be happening over on Instagram. So that's your chance to view, information in our stories and, make some guesses to see if you will be a lucky winner to receive a DePaul themed prize. And then, of course, DAB is doing their popular trivia night, and it's going to be themed The Office tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. So yeah, visit their page for details on how to join that event. And then yeah, over on Thursday is Blue Thursday. So don't forget to wear your DePaul gear, wear your blue. And also don't forget to sign up to receive a DePaul shirt. They're pretty cool long sleeve shirts that we'll be distributing. So make sure you sign up for that. Then of course, Winter Involvement Fair is going on for a few hours on Thursday. And then DePaul After Dark is doing a speed friending event starting at 8 p.m. So that's gonna be a really cool event to be able to connect with other students and make connections with them through some fun activities. And then last but not least, Friday will be day 2 of the Winter Involvement Fair happening in the earlier hours of the day. And then other things that you can be on the lookout for is our Wake Up with OSI morning announcement series. We're going live on Facebook each morning around 10 o'clock. And then today we decided to hop over to Instagram and go live, which
was a true gift to the world. It was a gift to everyone. You gotta watch it.
It was so impromptu. We were like, let's go over to Instagram and see the people there. So we're going to keep doing that. So I would say you can look forward to the Instagram live probably sometime between 10:15 and 10:30. Give us some time to hop over to the other platform. So we're going to do that each day. Then, of course, the Get to Know DePaul series is happening each day at 11 and 4 p.m.
Great.
So, yeah, some exciting things.
Yeah, thanks for that overview, Tanisha. And thanks everybody for watching today. Really appreciate it. As you probably saw at the bottom of the screen, you might have seen the scrolling ticker. So for this and every session, you can also check in for your chance to win some Depaul swag. So we're giving away to one viewer from each session a Depaul towel and tumbler, which Tanisha also has pictured right there. But by scanning the QR code or by clicking the link in the comments, you can check in for your chance to win. The great part about this is you can check in either now live during today's session or in the video on demand. So for any of the sessions, you can watch whenever it's convenient for you as well. If you can't make one of the live streams at 11 or 4, either on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page. But until tomorrow, we hope you stay well and stay safe and healthy, but take care of yourselves and each other. Depaul, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.